You are about to enter a good news zone. Values in Action is next. Welcome to Values in Action, a program about leaders doing good in our community. These people define our community by shaping the culture and values we all live by. We'll see what they stand for and how we can all become better by their example. Today we have Scott, Ken, and Chip Marous of Marous Brothers Construction, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Values in Action. I'm here with my co-host Ratanjit Sande, and we're joined by Scott, Ken, and Chip Marous of Marous Brothers Construction. Thanks for joining us. And we want to take a look at a little profile of Marous Brothers Construction.
Hey, it just goes right there.
I mean, there was so much help and everybody coming together, and the will to succeed and not to fail was so overwhelming. Whatever it took to do anything, those people jumped in. It was amazing.
You did a tremendous thing for the community. How did it feel, and where did that impetus come from?
Well, I think it came from, where we came from. Was how we were raised. Our parents taught us to be thankful for our successes. Our parents taught us good morals and values. And I think that's part of our culture of our company. We have good family values. And I think, that's where it actually, came from. And we continue to, practice those values and morals and to help other people that need our help. That's very important for us.
Could you describe how this whole project came about and how did you get involved in it?
Sure.
Yeah, well, how we actually ended up getting involved. Obviously, the show's been around for about 8 seasons now. It showcases different builders and it showcases families that are in need. And obviously, that's what we look for. We had a chance to see the application tape. And the family was in dire need of obviously a house, but it was a family that also gave back to the community. And as soon as we saw the family, we knew there was a match for us there. So we took on the project, and we got a call. It was early 2010, and they were looking for a local builder, and so we took on the project.
Now, on the surface, it's a great cause. You helped a family who did not have enough revenues to build a house, and they needed a house. But after all said and done, it is the most sophisticated promotional piece for your company, isn't it?
I don't know if it would be that, but I think it's important for us, though, is helping that act of random kindness and getting all the volunteers and all the support from the community. When we went ahead and actually took on this project, we had to go out and making sure that we could get subcontractors and vendors to help donate. This is 100% donated, this home. So going out and reaching out to that community and the overwhelming response that we got from the community and volunteers, I think was, for us, was an experience that we'll never forget, is that sheer willingness and to do whatever it takes to help give this family a new home and a safer home.
Ken, how do you take a one-time experience that helped one family and convert that to changing society?
Well, I think it wasn't just the one family. It was actually changing a community itself. We went around and we surveyed a number of homes in that area, and we actually did work on approximately 19 other homes just to try to keep that community all together, to try to bring that, not just the family in the community, but also to bring 19 other homes and different blocks in that area, just to accept that and to recognize the arc effect.
Now, these are great catalysts. But how do we, going forward, continue this thought process of kindness and giving back to our community?
I think it's educating everybody. I think it's, it's more or less bringing something every single day to your life. Just helping somebody to do something very, small, anything small every single day. I think it's education to everybody in the community to try to give back to the community.
But But you see, every Thanksgiving Day, this nation has thousands, of, millions of free meals given to people who need. But they don't stop being hungry after the Thanksgiving Day. The process only stops at that point. How do we continue these thoughts?
That's a good point. I think that these people who maybe got fed that day, they appreciate that, and hopefully,
They do.
and hopefully, they'll find something to give back to somebody else that maybe that they didn't have. So I think it has to start one day at a time. And even if it's
Yeah,
just
but
that.
we
Even
do.
if it's just,
I'm not disputing they are great acts. They're needed. But what we need to do is we need to capitalize on that and continue the thought process. So our society becomes a kind, giving, and caring society. How do we make that happen?
I think showing by example is key. Believing it inside and making sure that it makes you feel good to go out and do a good act. And showing by example is key. I think there's not enough examples of that showing of that kindness. And the more you show out there in the public and in the community, I think more people will do it themselves. I think people like doing good things and making them feel good. And I think that's important that you get out there and show by example.
Scott, what are the other things that you do that kind of create this arc effect that you're talking about?
Well, in your daily life, I mean, obviously, what Chip says, you gotta lead by example, and I think it's important that the people that around you, they see how you conduct yourself in your daily life. So for us, we do various things, even on our job sites. We have various programs that we do, and I think, like I say, it's just people just need to see what you're doing, and I think that's going to spread the word on what you preach.
When we come back, I'd like to talk more about leadership, because it sounds as though that's where you're going, that leadership is how we actually pay it forward. We're going to be back in a moment. Welcome back. Once again, we're here with the Marous brothers of Marous Brothers Construction, and they just did the Extreme Home Makeover in Cleveland. We already heard what a great experience that was, and now we're talking about leadership. How do we convert this experience into something that you can communicate to the community, where you can exert your leadership and become role models, and where people recognize the power of kindness?
Yeah, you know what, for me, even though we obviously own a company and people might look at us as leaders, but it doesn't matter if you own a company or not. I think everybody is a leader in their own right. And I think it's important that they go out there and they conduct themselves in that manner. And they can take that, and anybody that was at the build for those 5 days, and they saw the things that took place. And if they go out, and even if you just, I don't care what line of business you're in, if you take that and take that leadership role and do something to make a change in your life, one thing is kindness is contagious. Generosity is contagious,
Yes.
and I think it's important.
What would you expect to occur in our community as a result of your experience? If the three of you are exerting your leadership, taking from this extreme makeover experience and doing an extreme makeover on our community, what would you expect to have happen?
I got a good example of that. Is out in Lake County, there's a vocational school, and one of the volunteers were at that school. He gave me a call a couple days after the build. We had some miscellaneous lumber left over, some braces and stuff like that, and they actually took that lumber to the vocational class. And what they're going to do then, he called me and told me that they're going to take that lumber and they're going to take the experience that he had at the Extreme Makeover, and they're going to actually do a house out in Ashtabula County. And they're going to march down the road and simulate what happened at the build. So I think already the effect of what we did is already spreading, and these little mini builds are going to come about from that.
Does it spread and ultimately peter out? How do we sustain this effect in Northeast Ohio?
Well, that's definitely a challenge, but I think for us as a company and three brothers, we want to be able to put the arc effect in our lives every day, but really communicate that out to everybody. And we're forming our foundation right now, and we're going to be able to, our mission is really the arc effect, and we're going to be able to promote that every day in years to come and do multiple different things to help the community and making sure we're reinforcing it all the time.
How has it made a difference in your personal life, this experience of building this home and being kind and guiding this and getting community involved, how has it changed your life?
Well, I think we always thought we were good stewards of the community, but I think, being through this experience and being it's so tense, but being that there's so many people involved to help us, it's changed my life in the sense of I'm more aware of doing smaller acts every day in my life, making sure that we're teaching people that and communicating that. It's just the small things in life that could change somebody's life for the better. And I think I'm more aware of that now more than ever.
Does that slow your life? Is it slowing your life down so that you can focus, so you can notice those small things, or is it noticing despite as fast a pace as you may have had before?
To add to what his comment is, you are ultimately a business, a corporation.
Yeah.
So you have to make a profit. You have to manage employees. So now this kindness, where does that come in? Does it hinder or does it help?
Well, I think it definitely helps. It's just that, slowing our lives down. Unfortunately, we run a big company and we're overachievers, so we're running at a fast pace all the time. But I think it's allowed us to step back a few steps and look at things differently. So I think that's what's helped. And I think, overall for our company, I don't think it hinders our company. It's part of our culture. And I think that helps our overall company because when you have the culture of giving, you work together as a team better. And I think that's what we see more now than ever.
It's also our philosophy too. I mean, we treat our clients the way we want to be treated. So, by treating them with kindness, the whole team works better together. So I think it works, better as not just as a company or not just in the public, but also as a company too. Helping others is also helping your clients too.
Yeah, when we come back, I want to find out where your value system and what you practice, where have you learned, where that comes from. So please stay with us. We will be right back.